Hare Krishna. Hello, and welcome to the Soul Ashraya podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Bhakta Jake. I'm joined with Balaram Shakti Das, and we are devoted to bring you ancient wisdom for the modern day. Join us as we read the Krishna book by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, and let us share with you the wonderful shelter or ashraya of our dear Lord Krishna. Please join us in this sublime process of transforming our consciousness by hearing and discussing spiritual concepts. Balaram Shakti Das, I got a new camera and it's just not working for me today.
Yeah, we were trying it out before the show and not gonna work for us.
Yeah. When you turn it on, it goes like this.
That's
Just
no
like
good.
that.
It's no good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get in there and mess around with the settings and see what's going on. But other than that, I'm having a great day. I took my children down to the lake and it was just wonderful. We went down this little parkway and we were walking in the stream. I actually just got back from doing that, and it was amazing. Let me tell you, nice and cool. The water was nice and cool, and it was really wonderful to be outside in nature with the kids. And it's stuff like that you know, really, really just makes you just really appreciate God's creation, you know.
Hmm. Is that down Canandaigua?
Down here in Canandaigua.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you, man. I had breakfast outside this morning. Just was feeling a bit hungover from party last night.
Oh, I was gonna. Wow, what do you mean hungover?
From
No hangovers here. This is a hangover-free zone that we live in.
a Krishna party. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no drugs or alcohol, but we were up. We were up late last night and had a huge feast. So it's like the Krishna conscious equivalent of a hangover when you wake up later than you normally do, and like, oh, it's like you just need to get outside. Thankfully, it wasn't super hot,
Hmm.
so it's probably like 90.
Oh, dude, it's got to be so wild out there. Dry too, right? Just 90 degrees, scorching. That is hot, man. I don't. When it's 90, it's hot outside.
Mm. It's not
Here in
quite.
Florida, we have humidity too.
Yeah, East Coast has that humidity, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. But still, I feel like 90 degrees outside is definitely hot anywhere.
It's
It
still
is.
90. Yeah. But in the shade, though, it's not bad because the air is not that hot if you're not in the sun. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, just being just a few minutes outside, just like nice, nice little reset.
Mm, nice. Really cool. Awesome. Yeah, I really was hoping to have this new camera going, and it just I don't know. I got to get in there and mess around with the stuff, I guess. I don't know. We're we're really striving to bring our audience a higher quality show. So, yeah. Yeah. And so we're working on it. We're working on it. So,
Yes.
yeah. So,
All right, well, let's dive in here.
let's dive right in.
All right.
Let's do that. I feel the need to say some prayers.
You feel the
Yes,
need to read.
the need to read. Yes, the need to read. All right, let me see here. Here we go. Share. big. There you go. All right. How's that? Can everybody see that nice?
Right.
Yep.
Oh,
Om
wow.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om 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 Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, let me bring up the text from the good old Krishna book.
Yes, so reading chapter
Auspicious.
6.
Yes.
So we just hit the climax of this story in the last episode. Very dramatic. Krishna kills the demon witch ogress. And yeah, we were discussing how, what's really important is what's on the inside, right?
Yeah.
That on the outside, she looks like a celestial lady, very trustworthy, right? And opulent and just waltzed right in, right? But
Yeah.
actually on the inside, she was this demon. And we're discussing the parallel with the story of Vritrasura, which was mentioned.
Yeah.
She fell exactly as he did, struck by the thunderbolt weapon of Indra, right? Like crashing down like a giant mountain, like extending up miles in the sky, which is really fantastic. But it's like we should understand that the old age, the inner archetypes and energies that we experience, right, in this age as simply internal. When we talk about monsters, demons, angels, these things, like we're not seeing them manifested externally, but we definitely experience them internally. And some people even have visions or hallucinations or what have you, experiences where they're like, yeah, like I saw this being, right?
Mm. Like
And
when they're under the influence.
perhaps under
Mm.
the influence, because what does psychedelic mean? It means mind manifesting. You manifest what's in your psyche, right? So in the old age, the previous age, it's like everything was psychedelic in a sense, that the psyche, like those elements were manifested externally, like the beings actually had those bodies. They had a body of a monster, and monsters can be huge. They can be humongous, so there are these two demon stories
Mm.
where that was shown. And what's even more amazing is it's not just what's on the inside that matters, because what matters even more in the ultimate sense is the spirit soul and the activity of the spirit soul and the life, which we could say is like the eternal life of the soul, is reclaimed by Krishna. That when we get engaged in devotional service, Krishna takes that spark of spirit. He says, I'm going to take that and I'm going to wipe everything else out, unless it's not antagonistic to that service. But Putana's insides and outsides, right? Her inner demon body, which was shown outwardly, was not very helpful, right? Krishna, there was something I don't know if it was the last one or even the previous one, where Krishna goes, yeah, that's not going to be necessary anymore. That won't be helpful. Do you remember that?
Something about Krishna said that to Putana.
You didn't say it. Um, hmm. But to stop her from further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. So basically saying, like, if I let your psyche continue as it is, you're going to keep doing bad things. So I'm going to kill that body. But the real you, like, that is the connection with bhakti, with devotion, the activity of the soul. And that's like inside the inside. So it's like the first lesson we receive from these stories is it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that matters. But even that is temporary. And Krishna can work miracles in our life like beyond that, or like independent of that. That's really, does that make sense? Like independent of what's going on externally, internally for us.
Mm.
He can,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could give a nice example. What do you think, Jake? Like where your inner world, I mean, back in, our crazy days, like your inner world, like turmoil, and he was able to do something for you. Can you think of an example like that?
Oh my goodness. Could I ever? I mean, I could think of just example after example. And it's so crazy because it's like he's like, I'm throwing you a rope, then I'm throwing you like a ladder, then I'm throwing you like tons of money, then I'm throwing you, like he just throws stuff at you, and you're like, oh, what do I do? What do I do with this? Oh, it's a rope ladder. Oh, what? I guess I'll just walk away. I guess I'll just walk the other way. You know, like you do all this ridiculous stuff, and yet he's so merciful. He's like, oh, well, not that time, I guess. I guess I'll just try again later on, you know? And it's not like he wants to, like, he's not trying to spoil us or anything like that, but he's definitely like, hello. Right. I guess that would be the parlance of the day, right? You know, hello. So yeah, I mean, so like multiple times. I can definitely attest to that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And isn't that how we do it as humans? We're just like, oh, what do I do with that? Oh, a
Yeah,
bunch of money? What do I do with that? What's money?
it's the classic motif of Adam on the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's Adam, like just, yeah, lazy, reclining. God's like reaching, like, come on, like just take my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much work. Yeah, so that's our condition. And but he keeps encouraging us, because he's patient, right? That's the idea, of us as the soul being like a child, being a small child, and there is a higher power, you know, in our reality that is trying to level us up, is trying to get us to be a bigger, higher, better version of ourselves. And, that reality is very patient with us. That supreme reality is very patient with us and will give us, constantly opportunities to keep bettering ourselves more and more. And it's a gradual thing. It's not like you have to grab the rope and like shimmy up it like a, Navy SEAL on your first try, right? It's not, spiritual life isn't a competition, it's not a race. Yeah, so Krishna just did that. He killed the demon. So yeah, we've had some really nice discussion on that. And so now he's simply playing on the corpse, right?
My God.
Giant corpse. And so we're about to
It is a giant corpse.
yeah, it's a literal giant corpse.
Yeah.
We're about to see a deeper insight into like the character or the like behavioral nature of Krishna.
Yeah. 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 I could speak to that real quick too, about when the Lord hands you a rope.
Hmm.
It's not like, it's literally the exact opposite of like a Navy SEAL scenario where it's like, oh, get up this rope. Oh. It's not like it's a rope on the edge of a cliff,
Hmm.
It's like a nice thing, that's pretty obvious. But they come in different ways. So, as humans, I think our hindsight is always 2020, but you have to have enough sense to know like when God is trying to help you out. And usually it's very easy. It's like super easy and super stress free. The only catch is that you're going to have to die to your own will, and you're not going to be able to get away with what you thought you could get away with. So you're not going to be able to have like that sort of like sinful pleasure that you were really hoping for, you know, because it seems like it's usually equivalent, you know? It's like whatever you really want, oh, I'm gonna go, whatever it is, yeah, whatever the sin is, versus, or I could go and just, have a very nice time, elsewhere. It's always like a duality, and it's always of like equal level. And he always makes it so simple and so nice for us because he is literally that merciful, but are just that thing that's in us, you know? Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to go and have some fun, that thing. It's so hard. It's so hard, especially when you're young, to really, really kill that, like really get over that. I bet, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I bet my ratio was probably like 1 to 10. You know what I'm saying?
Like victories to losses.
Yeah. Yeah. To like doing what like God actually wanted me to do, to like doing what I wanted to do, 1 to 10, if not more. Seriously.
Oh,
That's something we
absolutely.
need to work
That's
on as
that's
human
probably
beings.
even generous for us, but
Oh, generous as can be. Yeah. It's probably more like 1 to 100.
yeah, so you're not alone out there. And like the just like as a note of encouragement, like that one counts eternally, and the 100 is like is you can pretty much just brush that off,
That is encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
Because I mean, and there's so much we could say about that. It's like we're doing the work of countless lifetimes, even if you don't want to think of it as your soul having countless lifetimes, like all of your previous like generations of ancestors, you've inherited all of their stuff, right?
Mm.
All of their issues. It's a fact,
Wow.
we inherit everything. So it's like we're doing the work on their behalf too, whatever victories they weren't able to achieve, so like these losses, it's like don't take it so personally. But I also want to speak to this point of like of sin, which the term that you're using, that we don't have to think about it in such a like a charged term, because it's it's just I like this better what you're talking about, like the these two choices and dying to the old self. It's not that the old self is like a sin, you know. It's again like what are you're gonna take it upon yourself that your ancestors didn't have the wherewithal to be perfect in every way, and you because you've inherited that from them, you are inherently bad or sinful just because you're operating on unconscious, programming. It's like
Yeah.
it's not the point
Eh,
of
eh,
sin. And I think that's like where that word gets, you know, unnecessarily charged is like it's not meant to be used to like shame you, you know, or which is to say like to call you inherently bad because you're not.
mm,
It's um this topic is meant to get us to consider how can I rise above my smaller self, right? Because if I remain in the small self, I'm just a slave to unconscious behaviors and so forth. And that self is going to have to die. Like, and it doesn't have to be so dramatic as like Putana getting vanquished by Krishna, but we should understand like the gross body and the subtle body are both temporary. They're going to have to die. You are going to have to face death, whether or not you
mm,
like to admit it, whether or not you are mature enough in years
mm.
to recognize that. Because in our youth, it's like this body's eternal, bro. Like I'm invincible. Like
Oh, I'm bulletproof.
I'm so guilty of that.
So
You know,
guilty. So, I mean, it's like I could get into that. I wanted to ask you real quick, Prabhu. Do you know where the word sin originated?
I've heard a few things from this, but um, I forget believe the Greek word, right, which means to miss the mark,
Yep,
archery term.
that's it. That's it.
It's like you miss the ideal. It's like your
Yes.
small
Yes.
self is meant to be a bigger self. Like there's a better version of you out there, but the version that you're inhabiting right now is off the mark right now. It's not nailing it as far as you being the best version of yourself and loving in a pure way. And so sin doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It's like the arrow works just fine, you know, but you're just not quite there, And so we're meant to be refined. And so the like birth and death cycle, of our gross and subtle bodies is nature's way of like giving us chances to make that improvement, to become a better person, to shed the old and come into the new, right? So we should understand. So, like when we're hearing stories like this, um, we should, try to be reflective of what in me is like stirring up trouble and
Yeah.
what needs to die.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that
And
there's
find those places to make the better choice, as you're saying, like
you
grab the ladder.
do you feel that it's possible that there is another version of you in an alternate dimension?
All dimensions are converging right here, right now. Like to say another dimension, like what does that even mean? You know,
I don't know.
like it's not there isn't another you who is conscious somewhere else. Like all of you is right here, right now. And
That
we exist in multiple dimensions per se, but we're conscious here. Like this is where the consciousness is localized.
Oh, that's what I feel like too. I've just been hearing more and more talk about like you got to connect to the you that's in an alternate dimension.
No, that's bypassing, the work that you have to do here. If there was if there was a you somewhere else, like you would be there. It's like that idea is popular. It's totally skeptical concoction, first of all. It's not backed by Shastra. It's not backed by, scriptural authority or
Is this
spiritual master.
have you heard it too? Have you heard about it?
Sure.
Oh,
You know, the first place I saw that actually was in the jungle in Peru. Um, and this guy, I was like, I just came out of an ayahuasca retreat, and this guy was like showing, like drawing out this diagram of like, it was like that grid paper. And he was like, here's your life. And then parallel to it, those are all the alternate, like parallel versions of you. And he was like trying to explain his theory. And these other guys, like, seniors to us came over, and they're basically told him straight up, like, you're sick in the head. Like, you need to see the medicine woman. Like, it's
wow.
okay. We all, sometimes these things happen. And it was just like, I was like, whoa, I didn't
Wow.
catch
They weren't
that.
having it. They were like, no, no.
No, this is
Wow.
delusional. This is like, you're not being real, because they were grounded, like deeply, like they were present with life, like
I've
days in
heard
the data, like feet on the earth.
I've heard that about that ayahuasca. I've heard alcoholics quitting drinking from going out on these ayahuasca things and all kinds of like crazy, like deep healing happening with this ayahuasca. That's what I've heard. I've heard it from a lot of different people,
I
people that
mean, it's a double-edged sword.
you know.
Double-edged sword. I've literally seen people who have become possessed by demons because of it, because it's opening up your psyche and anything can kind of come in. But the curandera that they referred this guy to was the one that I worked with, and she deals a lot specifically with people who have been messed up by other so-called shamans and gurus, right? She cleans the whole house. Um,
House.
but yeah, like this idea, like your reality is localized here. Don't try to go somewhere else with it. Go within, figure out how you can be more holistic as a human being, as a
I
spirit.
that yeah, that's how I feel. I wanted to put that out there so people know where we're at, you know.
Yeah. So
We're
what you're
here.
talking about is it's called reality shifting, and I looked a bit into it as well. And all it does is really it puts your mind somewhere else. And from my own personal experience, I have found that like you can only really deal with sin and with discontent in the present moment. You can't, there's no point in trying to shift your consciousness to a different version of yourself. You're just gonna lose your mind in the process.
Mm,
That's my take on it.
well, thank you,
There
Brian.
you go.
Yeah, it's like we don't know how empowered we can be here. That's another point. It's like we think that, oh, the human dimension, that's so limited. I have to work, but if I take DMT or something like that, I can go astral journey and, have all these mystical things going on. And that's where the real work is, bro. And
Take
it's
you
like
out on the astral plane.
yeah, it's like actually the real work is a lot more real than you can imagine right now, because
Real.
it's all being presented to you here. Like this is the ultimate field of activity according to Bhagavad Gita. It's like this is the place, the birth plane. This is how we can learn how to be our truest version of ourself, by like deeply encountering real human problems and life in, its raw form. Whereas like this disembodied stuff, it's not going to be helpful, you know.
I'm so sorry.
It's
I
not
feel like
really
we're just swirling.
kind of derailed here.
We're
But
whirling away. We are squirreling away. I got this nice text here all highlighted and everything, and I just keep on talking about like the stupidest stuff ever. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here we go.
okay, hopefully that
Start
was
reading
maybe
now. Okay. When the gopis saw little Krishna fearlessly playing on Putana's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up. Oh my God, what are you doing? You're on a dead. Or maybe they actually did say, oh my God, like, because he is actually God, like, what are you doing on this corpse? Anyway, sorry. Forgive me, probably. I'm just going to shut up and start reading. I'm so sorry.
you're fine.
Okay. Mother Yasoda and Rohini and other elder gopis immediately performed the auspicious rituals by taking the tail of a cow and circumambulating his body. The child was completely washed with the urine of a cow, and the dust created by the hooves of the cow was thrown all over his body. This was all just to save little Krishna from future inauspicious accidents. This incident gives us a clear indication of how important the cow is to the family, society, and to living beings in general. The transcendental body of Krishna did not require any protection, but to instruct us on the importance of the cow. The Lord was smeared over with cow dung, washed with the urine of the cow, and sprinkled with the dust upraised by the walking of cows. Now, I have heard of that from devotees who, from American devotees who have gone to India for very long periods of time and then come back, and they had all kinds of crazy stories, and they told me about like how cow dung and cow urine is used in very auspicious ways and apparently is actually really good for you and really clean, which like in our Western mindset that goes against like everything we believe in about cows. We think that they're dirty and nasty and they're just like filthy beasts, but the
Yeah,
reality is that they're actually very important.
yeah.
um
You drive by the so-called farms or whatever on I-80. They've got just so many cows all packed together. They don't even let them stand on grass. They stand on mud and they're just filthy and it just reeks. It reeks. You can't wait to get past that section of the highway, right? I mean, that's how many of us like that is our experience of cows, right? So it's like, glad that's not my job. So we think that they're filthy, but that's actually because we are filthy because of the way that we keep the cows. First point that we can appreciate. I mean, it's like a street dog is a filthy animal, but you take the same dog, domesticate him, and you let him sleep in your bed. What the hell's the difference?
Guilty.
Jake, it's like he's still
I've got an amazing dog. I've got a border collie, and in the middle, he has a crate that he goes into, but in the middle of the night, he'll come up on the bed and he lays at my feet, which is fine. And he's so smart that like I kind of let him get away with like way more than I would any normal kind of dog because border collies are like super smart. But yeah, I am starting to really have some things about that, but now he's too old now, and I don't want to lock him up for the whole night either, so I just let him sit at my feet.
yeah. Yeah, we develop, affectionate relationships with
Yeah.
these dogs. but it is a fact that dogs are dirty, you
Oh,
know.
I am learning so much, so much. I don't want to say anything about it right now, but I have a very good source on some handmade soap, and I think that we're gonna start going down that path a little more. Stay tuned.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Stay tuned for the soap. The soap is gonna be a thing.
Yeah, no, it's important to have good soap. But here's what's even more powerful than soap and
Yes,
even more powerful than ayahuasca, I would say,
yes,
kind of throwing that in because the dust, of the footprints, hoofprints rather, of the cows, so what are we talking about here? There's a couple things. First of all, that science has confirmed, our science, Western science, has confirmed that the cow dung and cow urine, far from being septic, are antiseptic. So consider this, like the stuff that a body produces that is septic, like that's the most filthy part of an animal.
yeah,
If that stuff is
yeah,
antiseptic,
yeah.
can any of them be considered filthy? It's like the old like saying, this one teacher of mine, I forget who, told me this little anecdote. The kids, just little kids in the school were like hating on the janitor, calling him dirty. And the teacher did a brilliant like flip on them. She's like, in order to make something dirty, does that person have to be clean or dirty? Well, dirty. And in order to make something clean, can that person make something clean if they're dirty? And they're like, no. She's like, so actually the janitor is the one that's clean and you're the ones that are dirty. And they're like, right. So likewise, the cow, it's like, we're making filthy things. Our poop is septic. You know,
Yes.
you don't want to put your hands on that. You clean yourself, flush down the toilet. That's another thing. We use toilet paper. Doesn't clean you. And so we use soap and water, right? But the cows, they don't produce anything septic. They're pure. So that's the one point. And science
Right
and
into the nitty gritty today, bud. Getting
getting
right
right
into the
into
nitty
it.
gritty.
Feces and urine here.
Not holding back.
We won't talk about urine therapy, I promise.
But we are going to talk about soap coming up very soon and how important
Right.
it is to have
Jake's
a
excited.
good quality soap.
He's excited about this.
I am excited because it's going to happen.
So the Vedas have told us for millennia that cow dung is antiseptic. You can rub it on your body, it will clean you. You can use it to purify an atmosphere. Like we have our sage bundles. You can go into like Walmart now. You can go to Target and there's sage bundles, right? The Vedas are saying you don't need to buy anything, the cow dung, you can light that and it's better. It's better than any sage. Actually, it's the best. It's the most pure, the most pure. So what the gopis are doing here is they're taking the most pure substance, which is coming from mother cow. And what is it doing? Like the way that I'm seeing it, like, the dust of their hoof prints, it's like super like planet surface, like just the dirt of the earth. And I was referencing ayahuasca, I was like alluding to that substance is doing the same sort of thing. It's trying to take all of your like crazy mental trips and just like bring you down to the earth. And
Okay.
it does that in a specific way, which is purgative, right? It's going to purge you of your weird stuff and it's going to like bring you down to reality, like a good grandmother will do, like sit down on the earth. boy, and she's known as, the grandmother medicine. And so it has a way of like doing that. But again, it's a double-edged sword. What's amazing about the cow is also bringing us the mother medicine, but in a way that's like so pure and natural. I don't know any other way of explaining this idea, verbalizing this. Maybe you're hopefully catching my drift here. They've like packaged it in a way that like it's not psychoactive at all. Karina, can you say something on that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. It's like the cow mother is bringing us back down to earth, but she's not pulling us out of our mind or doing anything to our mind, but like allowing us to experience that groundedness that happens when we contact her. And so would you say it's even more in the mode of goodness because of that?
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. So, yeah, okay, so then there's another concept being communicated here, that they're performing auspicious rituals, right? Like, first of all, why are they doing this, right? We kind of skip to like what they're doing and some of the mechanics of it, but
Yeah.
boy was playing on a dead demon body.
Right.
Super
Right.
inauspicious.
Yes.
It's like
Very inauspicious. Yes.
if you saw like a jackals aren't really common here. What's like an like a bat, like a dead bat, and your kid was like playing with it and like touching his fingers to his mouth, you'd be like, oh my God, I have to
Oh,
wash you, like get in the bathtub right now. Like, yeah. Or like a dead skunk or something.
yeah.
But like a bat or like
Yeah.
jackal, these animals
Yeah.
are considered very inauspicious.
Anything dead, like
Anything dead
anything.
though. Anything dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Think of
like
my cat. My cat does that all the time. He's an outside cat, and I swear you'll be out in the lawn and like there's like half a mouse. I'm like, oh, really, really, I mean, cats do that. They're gonna do that. There's nothing I can do. He's an outdoor cat. He's a barn cat. So, but still, I just think like, no, I don't ever want to touch the cat. Because the cat, like, they get cat germs and ugh. Anyway, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that.
well,
Sorry.
I don't know so much about cats in the regard of whether they're clean or unclean. I mean, it seemed pretty unclean, but they
Yeah.
clean themselves. It's like they don't use shampoo or conditioner, but their fur is like
Always,
way more majestic than
yeah,
people you see walking down the street. And it's like,
yeah,
how do they do that?
yeah. I don't know.
So they're also like, my understanding is they're actually like purifying the atmosphere as well of
Oh,
like negative elements.
oh, okay.
Right? We've heard
Yeah,
that.
cats.
Yeah. They're
Oh,
like totally in tune with the astral plane. And yeah,
is there?
like
Are we going to the cat dimension?
so we have to bring Kirtan Eshwar in for that one. It's a whole episode. So okay.
So,
So let's read the next
yeah,
paragraph. They're
yes.
gonna do a whole nother dimension of purification here that
Okay.
we talked about.
All right. Okay. So after this purificatory process, I hope I said that the right way. Okay, good. The gopis, headed by Mother Yasoda and Rohini, chanted the names of Vishnu to give Krishna's body full protection from all evil influences. They washed their hands and feet and sipped water 3 times, as is the custom before chanting mantra. They chanted as follows: My dear Krishna, may the Lord who is known as Aja protect your legs. May the Lord Maniman protect your knees. May Lord Yanya protect your thighs. May Lord Achuta protect your upper waist. May Lord Hagriva protect your abdomen. May Lord Keshava protect your heart. May Lord Isha protect your chest. May Lord Surya protect your neck. Protect your neck. May Lord Vishnu protect your arms. May Lord Urakrama protect your face. May Lord Ishvara protect your head. May Lord Chakrahara protect your. That was pretty good, right? Okay. Okay, cool. I'm getting the look. It must be good. Okay, here we go. Protect your front. May Lord Gadahara protect your back. May Lord Madhu San Mad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Madhu Sadana, who carries a bow in his hand, protect your right side. May Lord Ajana protect your left side. May Lord Uragaya and his conch shell protect you on all sides. May the personality of Godhead Upendra protect you from above. May Lord Tarkyasa protect you on the ground. May Lord Haladrahara protect you from all sides. May the personality of Godhead known as Harikesha protect all your senses. May Lord Narayana protect your life heirs. May the Lord Svetavipa Narayana protect the core of your heart. May Lord Yogesvara protect your mind. May Lord Krishna protect your intelligence. And may the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect your soul. While you are playing, may the Lord Govinda protect you from all sides. And when you are sleeping, may Lord Madhava protect you from all danger. When you are walking, may the Lord of Vaikuntha protect you from falling down. When you are sitting, may Lord Narayana give you all protection. And while you are eating, may the Lord of all sacrifices give you all protection. Wow. Is that a real mantra that is written somewhere? Is it? Because that sounds so close to Narasimha, the Narasimha prayers, you know?
Kavacha,
I listen to every Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
You know, Saturn day. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also Narayana Kavacha, which
Yeah.
is very similar as well. That actually this might be drawing from the Narayana Kavacha
It's amazing.
because it's what is it? What's going on here? These are it's saying Lord Urukrama, Lord Ishvara, Lord Vishnu. Are
Yeah.
these all different gods? Putting
They're all different, but they're all the same.
Okay.
I'm trying to highlight it all here so people can see it
So this is all
work.
the one same Supreme Lord.
Yes.
Same
Yes.
person.
Yes. Just different names.
Different names.
But all the names mean something. All the names are an actual aspect of the Lord.
You're an aspect of him, and because he's absolute and infinite, each aspect is also a distinct person, which is like amazing. They call that like a plenary portion, like a facet of him,
Yes.
and just like becomes animate. It's like imagine if you got in a mood and like a new Jake just emerged and was like, that's that Jake now. And there's like happy Jake and and then there's like sleepy Jake. And these are all like all different persons now. That's how potent God is. So at the same time, it's like it never divides him in any way. He's always the same person, but it's like it's very nice to know all of these different aspects. And another thing that's occurring here that I'm seeing is actually why Krishna was playing on the body is because he wanted his, like, the gopis and villagers to do this so that they would chant all of these different names of his, because he likes it when his devotees chant his names. It's a very interesting idea. But
Very, very smart.
so the Kavacha stotras, these like shields prayers, right? There's different, like, Kavacha means shields.
Yes.
So there's these different prayers given, and the gopis obviously know this one, to invoke different names of God for different places to be protected. So the Gaudiya Vaishnavas chant a certain type of these prayers for the 12 places on the body, the upper body, that is, to be protected by Krishna. And so it's Lalate Keshavam Dhyayam Narayana Matodare. It's the first line. And it's basically you're marking different places on the body with tilak, which is a symbol of Vishnu, Krishna. And you're invoking the Lord to protect your body in these ways. And it's like, my understanding of that is it's to sort of christen your body as a temple, right? The temple of the Lord. And
Yeah.
so you're like calling his name and you're marking your body with the names of God.
Yeah.
It's a very esoteric, deep spiritual practice of marking the body with the names of God. It's not one that our culture is familiar with at all. It's mentioned in the Bible, but it's like, oh, well, that was 2,000 years ago. They were just totally different religion practically. It's a different world. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with Christians or whatever you call yourself nowadays. I don't know. Would you want to speak on that, Jake?
I can tell you that I think of Tilak in the same way as I think about being initiated, where I understand it, and I think because I'm one of these people that just doesn't like jump into things, that I think that um it's a very deep spiritual practice, and when you do it, like when I see someone wearing tilak, I know like right away, I'm like, this person is like, okay, they're chanting rounds, they're taking this seriously, they're reading, they're chanting rounds. You can tell right away, because I don't know, it's got that same, it's like a it's almost like a, I don't want to say badge of honor, because that's not quite what it is, but it is sort of like on that level where it's like, that they are taking it way more seriously, and there's like a real thing happening in their life. I it's something that I will do. I will get into it. I need to get into the right space with the right people at the right time. It's yeah. So go ahead, Karina. Did you have something to say, or yeah?
Yeah, it's such a sacred thing, and it's awesome that, you're honoring yourself and when it feels right to you. And I just wanted to share a little bit from my own experience. Applying tilak and using Ganga water and chanting the appropriate names, it brings such a fragrance, and not only because it's fragrance with sandalwood, but it brings such like a fragrance to my mind and my spirit, and it feels very much purifying. It's tangible, and yeah, there's nothing like it. It's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
in these desires to approach more into being a Brahminical person. It's one of the things that I think doing every day to some extent will just change things dramatically. So definitely potent.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I know that Balaram likes to do the tilak and have the tilak. Like I said, I will do it. It's just I understand how serious it is, and right now I do the Tulsi Mala, but and I'm working on getting initiated, but I guess I'm just the kind of person that it takes me a long time to really get into something because I have to know everything about it before I just jump in, because it would be like not like sinful, but it would be um kind of like it just wouldn't be right if you did it and didn't even know what it meant, you know? I guess that would be kind of like like I don't know, like I guess the best thing I could think of would be to say that when you see people walking around with like band t-shirts on and you're like, I know for a fact that you have never heard that band. You couldn't name me one song or one album from that band. Why are you wearing that t-shirt? It would be like that kind of a thing. It would be like offensive, you know? Like if you were just walking around with T-Lock just because everyone else was. No, no, no.
Yeah, we don't want
I
to do that.
believe it is purifying. I 100% believe that. I believe it is like super purifying. I'm meeting myself where I'm at, I guess, and I know I'll do it eventually. I know I'll get into it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. We should really like honor and respect the tradition if we're going to be representing it in such a outwardly designated way. The same time, it's not such a like strict thing that you should feel like pressure to it. You know, you should still be a human being in the world,
Mm.
especially in the household option. For brahmacharis, like for those living in the temple, it's different. Like you're held to a different standard, you know? And
Yeah.
like the temple I got trained up in, we even slept with tilak on. Like we never not had tilak on. And I remember Kirtaneshwar, like when he first met me, he was like, Prabhu, you totally inspired me to up my tilak game. Like I was being lazy and you were like always wearing tilak. So um yeah, that's inspiring. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. I have it. I keep it right here, like kind of like on the lower part of the altar where I have my little achman. I have my achman cup. These are just nice things to have, you know? And
Yeah, it's sacred clay. So
yeah.
just having
Yeah.
so I pulled up Satchidanand Swami's book because he has a section on tilak.
Maybe we'll take a tour of the altar one of these episodes. I can show you
Okay.
guys my altar.
Okay. So there's five aspects of the how do you say regulations, like the standards that we follow as Vaishnavas. It's called
Yes.
Pancharatrika Vidhi,
Yes.
which is tapa. Well, I'll skip the Sanskrit. Um, regular, yeah, regulated principles of austerity. Um, tilak, chanting the holy name, chanting mantras such as Gayatri, namely Gayatri, and yagya for the sake of Vishnu, which primarily deity worship is our yagya, um, or yaga. So on Tilak, he writes some really nice things. They symbolize Lord Vishnu. Um, it does it yeah distinguishes the Vaishnava Tilak with the word urdhva, pundra. Urdhva means upward. So it's an upward. None of us are wearing teal as we're talking about it there, but you've seen me wear it in other episodes.
Oh yeah, like all the time, really. Yeah.
Um, distinguished from the horizontal lines of Shiva followers.
Mm.
And it shows that they consider the body a temple of the Lord rather than their own property. So that's a nice line. As the Padma Purana, one of the ancient literatures, explains, persons who put tulsi beads on their neck, who mark 12 places of their body as Vishnu temples with Vishnu's symbolic representations, namely that like horseshoe, and who have Vishnu tilak on their foreheads are to be understood as the devotees of Lord Vishnu in this world. Their presence purifies the world, and anywhere they remain, they make that place as good as Vaikuntha. Wow.
Wow. See,
So,
that's what I'm talking about. That's
yeah.
that higher standard, you know?
Well, it's that
Higher
higher conscious, it's that higher self. Like they're saying, like that small self, I'm gonna let that die, right? And I'm rising up to a sinless state. You know, Karina mentioned the mode of goodness, which is really just like clean consciousness. You know, like straight edge is trying to get you into a more clean consciousness, just like you as you are, unaffected by outside influences. That's what sattva means. So like as opposed to like psychedelics or like hallucinations or just like the absurdity of this world, because we all experience that, right? Just there's a lot of crazy influences out there, and we lose touch with who we are, right? Mode of goodness means let's reclaim your true self nature that is totally content in itself.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to go on trips.
It takes about 10 seconds after you get out of bed to lose touch with yourself. It takes literally 10 seconds. You wake up, oh yeah, everything's great. You get out of bed, 10 seconds later, oh my God, my life is falling apart all of a sudden, you know. What something will happen in this human form that we're in.
Looking at your phone before you even get out of bed, like I do, like terrible.
Don't look at your phone.
It's the worst habit. It's seriously, it's
first thing. Don't do it first thing in the morning. Just pick up your japa beads or leave a book right there. Leave your book right on your corner bedstand and just like hit yourself in the face with it if you have to, you know? Like just do anything not to look at your phone.
Do it some of these.
Oh my god.
So and I wanted to tie, well, yeah, because it's like that's something I'm working on. It's one of my goals for end of the year. Is to really get that solid morning practice. And it's pure, their presence purifies the world. You know, this is really because like the dust of the hoof prints of cows purifies the atmosphere. It's like, I mean, this is such an esoteric idea. I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw it out any more than this, but like getting like on the earth, right, in a sinless way. Like when you put the tilak of the Lord on your body, when you chant the names of the Lord, when you take up any of these 5 samskaras, right, that Narada Muni has prescribed for us. That's where this is coming from. This is our lineage. There's other, what's the name of the pancharatrikas? Tantras. Tantra means a type of book. It's coming in a lineage. There's many tantras out there. There's a lot of Shiva tantra. When people hear the word tantra, they think of sex, you know, Shiva, Shakti stuff. But the word can mean many things. It literally means tan means body and tra means to deliver. So it's like how the embodied being goes beyond the temporal body and attains the eternal body. That's what Tantra means. That's a whole topic. That's a whole.
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
Tantra?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of these things
like
that
Kama Sutra you've never heard of? What?
I've heard the phrase tantra or tantric in
Yeah,
passing, and I just always like, for whatever reason,
just never
never like
open.
looked it up and never really like got into it. But I guess it's because I think I remember reading in Radhanath Swami's book, there was like a guy that was like super good at the tantric arts, and he like screwed up this other guy's life by like doing some stuff to him. So I don't know. I just like anything like that. I just will just pass over it. If I even think that it's like a hint dark or demonic or evil, I just don't want to know about it. Just chant my rounds, chant the holy names, you know. I mean, I know that, so I never got into it, so I don't, but now I know what it means. So yeah, sorry. Dude, we're completely over time. I'm just now realizing too.
I'll
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'll do my best.
Okay.
Um, yeah, most people in America, they just put up the sign of the cross in front of anything tantra because that's that's our impression of it. It, very um taboo. Like it's like
I
the
just, yeah, I never got into it.
anyway, that's one small book within the tantric library. There's again, tantra can mean book, but it literally means like that which gets you into a better body. I mean, it like working with the body. It's like how you, whereas like mantra, it's the same suffix there, tra, which means to
Mantra,
deliver. Mantra
tantra.
means to deliver the mind. Tantra means to deliver the body or to go beyond or to project or to like do body magic. Mantra as well. It could be using mind magic or like word magic.
Oh, okay.
So the Vaishnava Tantra is given to us by Narada Muni. He's like the supreme spiritual master of the universe in one sense. He's like the highest spiritual authority on devotional service and the highest form of yoga, of linking oneself with the supreme. So he gives 5 processes, 5 samskaras with the Vaishnava Tantra called Pancharatrika. So doing any of these things, it's purposed specifically to bring you into the mode of goodness. He said, devotional service is best practiced when you're in the mode of goodness. You can practice devotional service independently. You don't need anything else. You don't need to change anything about your culture. You just
Mm,
connect with God in the way that you know how, and best way is chanting the holy name of God. You
yes.
associate with the Lord, you serve him, do that. But the best way, like that's very difficult to do. Let's just be honest. To always be thinking in devotional consciousness, our minds are so disturbed because of our bodily situation. Therefore, we need some form of tantra in a sense. We need some way to work with the body in a way that can bring us into the mode of goodness. So he says these 5 things will bring you down to earth. And what is that doing? Is bring you into your better self, and by simultaneously being pure devotional service, which is like the hallmark of Narada Muni, in a sense, you could say. Whereas other forms of yoga, other forms of sattva guna are secondary forms of bhakti at best.
Wow.
Uh,
Jeez.
whereas Narada's tantra is itself primary form of bhakti. It is itself bhakti, and it's simultaneously a secondary or supportive form of bhakti. So you have like the primary thing of the relationship with God, and the secondary thing, that which facilitates the relationship with God, with Krishna, right? So he's saying this secondary thing, this is a way that you can support your relationship with God that is itself a relationship with God. So
I
that's like
can't
really,
I can't believe we get going on the craziest stuff right when we gotta go. It's like it happens so much. It happens all the time. But we're like way over time right now. And I hate having to like, oh yeah, you know what? We'll pick it up again because you never really pick it up again. You can't really pick it up again, you know. But we are at that's like definitely time.
so
And
that's what the gopis are doing with Krishna.
yes,
They're doing these rituals that they know this is going to like ground your energies, you know, cow dung, you want to ground something really fast, you put mud on it, right? You want to like reduce inflammation on a wound, you like put clay, like wet clay on it, and like, sorry, it's like opening up so many portals here.
That is what you do. It really is.
Yeah. And so,
But
like, let's do this. And what they're doing is they're purifying his body. It's again, it's like working with his body to purify all inauspicious elements, like any demonic energies that are there on the corpse of a giant demon, you know, are like could potentially be compromising him and his trajectory. Like if you make contact with an inauspicious element, you can shift the trajectory
yeah.
for like well, again, ayahuasca is so dangerous because you're exposing yourself a very, very, very vulnerable way to very strong forces that can derail you. We've seen it so many times. It can also heal you, you know. But the cow dung, it's like this is a way of like instant mode of goodness. Cow urine as well. It's like miracle medicine.
Well,
The rest,
we
the
have
rest
we have covered everything there is to know about cow dung and cow urine on this episode. I saw my friend Jeff Spicoli down there eating a pizza, so now I'm very hungry and we got to get going. That's my new nickname for our friend Spicoli.
Why did you
He even looks like him. I don't know if you guys
I don't
know.
know who that is either.
Okay,
Brian.
don't know that movie. All right, don't bother watching it. Don't bother. Anyway, let's chant the Maha Mantra 3 times so we can let these poor people go. All right.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much to our audience. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our humble YouTube channel. It really helps us grow. And we do have a lot of great things in the works. Thanks for sticking with us. And we will see you next time here from the Sola Shraya podcast. We love you very much. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Haribo.